I believe we are very lucky by having both our customer and our shareholder base very close to B3i. That allows us to work with them intensively and to hear their input. And we clearly heard the need to accelerate us going into the area of commercial insurance. So I think it's always a matter of listening to priorities, then prioritizing, and then realizing. And the commercial insurance, it was the voice of the customer asking for that, but also it made much sense for us if you look at excess of loss contracts in reinsurance, and as we certainly take them to facultative insurance, as a type of contract that is actually quite similar to how contracts work in commercial insurance, and we therefore not only are able to respond what our clients need, but we quickly realize that we will be able to extract much synergy of the excess of loss reinsurance contract we already have. As part of the realization is also that we then work with our customers and shareholders to say, okay, we heard what you want, now we need to continue working with you, and that's why now here, as we speak, we are conducting this first Kickoff workshop where we have representatives from the commercial insurance players amongst our shareholders and in the market who are working with us now to help define what that commercial insurance solution should be. I think that's really a very powerful approach.
The B3i Commercial Insurance Workshop it has been an incredible occasion to gather professionals from all companies, from the market in one place, and to exchange view and experience and professional perspective over the value chain, the commercial insurance value chain, and mainly to prioritize on what are the pain points and how those pain points are actually affecting the market. It has been an incredible occasion to have here in Zurich all these people, all these professionals, in the unique environment that B3i is able to create. It's a neutral environment where these people come as professionals first rather than representing their companies. And what we have created is the right combination of experience and willingness to challenge that experience, to try seek for new solutions, for new way of doing, for new operating models. So the whole workshop was articulated around analyzing the value chain executions from different perspectives. We had professionals in the room with an incredible diversity, all kind of experience, from IT to underwriting to operation and market facing, lawyers, and any line of business involved, so from property, casualty, because we wanted to create that wide discussion that usually doesn't happen. You know, our markets, our insurance companies and reinsurance companies, they work mainly in silos. And it's difficult to create this kind of melting, this kind of discussion and energy around. And you could have seen from what people were saying, you know, some kind of people were discussing, oh, you know, I didn't know that you were actually doing this. And the brokers were actually acknowledging that clients were looking for different things. So it was great. And that's, I think, the right matter, the right starting point to create meaningful platform for the market, end to end.
So I think the challenges come at a number of levels. So first of all, they can come at an intellectual level. So do I understand this thing called blockchain and what could it do for me? And people are at varying levels. There are people that are super informed, people that haven't even heard of it. What can it mean? What could it do? And they've got lots of information and misinformation. So first of all, even understanding that and what could it mean. We've got challenges at a values level. So a whole beliefs about people. So what does this mean in terms of a relationship, business point of view? What does it mean in terms of will this challenge the way I interact with people? A whole belief system about, well, change is really hard and change has failed repeatedly in the past. How can we get change at a market level, at a global level? Is it really going to happen this time? So that's a challenge as well. There was a level of awareness, so people taking away, I understand a bit more about what the technology can do, a lot better than when I arrived. But more than that, I understand the end-to-end process even better. So they've actually gone back with a level of knowledge and understanding that they didn't have, that actually they can do stuff with now. They don't need to wait for a product or a service to come along. They left with greater empathy. They left with an understanding of, this is how I can start to increase the dialogue, to increase awareness. They also left saying, B3i, there are things that we need you to help us with. So help us to make the case, help us to understand what you could do to ease some of the pain points. So they also came away feeling that we can hold B3i to account to be part of this, as part of this community. And for me, one of the biggest selling points is one of the participants saying, this isn't about my badge and my company who I work for, this is about being part of a community that can affect change to make the industry better. And quite frankly, I turn up as me, not as me working for X, and that gives me great heart.
Competition and collaboration is an interesting combination of a thin line between. I sat into the workshop this morning and one of the participants mentioned that as they were getting very enthusiastic to share good practices on underwriting commercial insurance contracts, and someone cautioned as in the context of antitrust, etc. And what I generally advise people is to make sure that early on in the teams there's a competition. Typically what we need is good subject matter expertise, so it was reinsurance people in the previous product, now commercial insurance, of course technology, and also legal, because whilst we have all the good intentions and the good compliance and procedures in place, we make sure that there's confidentiality and other such agreements when needed, but it's good to have your legal advisor in your various firms on board so that you can be supported. And these people can also draw the line where they think that certain information that remains competitive to such company shall not be shared. And in most of the cases, we don't need that. We actually do not need to get into that. We fully respect that core of risk management, etc., remains the expertise and the privileged competitive advantage of these firms. What we try to establish is that common ground that we need in the data exchange, in the frictionless risk transfer, because rather than inhibiting competition, it will actually allow people to compete more, because when the key risk relevant data are transferring in an easier way, people can really get to what they really are best at: assessing risk, pricing risk, quoting risk, managing risks.